Hey everybody, welcome to Lure Painting Live. I am Krista from Colorado Custom Lures. I am the painter behind the lures. I'll go ahead and put myself up here on Facebook as well. If you prefer to watch me there, I'm going to just go ahead and copy this real quick like. Oh, you know what? That's not even going to work actually. So, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, welcome everybody. I'm trying to get into Facebook. So tonight we're going to do just a bunch of random shad patterns and we're going to play around and see what we like. So if you like fancy painted lures and you want to have a little bit of say about what I paint tonight, then feel free to chime in, ask questions, comment, make suggestions, and I'll do my best to pay attention to all the comments and answer your questions and consider your suggestions. So hello. I'm going to pull up the feed here on my own computer so that I can see everybody's comments. I thank everybody for watching tonight. Hope you're all doing well. It is Saturday Night Live. And of course, my video is not going to work because that's just the way it rolls. So it looks like I think you guys should be able to see me pretty well. So if I need any adjustments so that you guys can see me better, just let me know, okay? All right, so I'm going to do a few different lures tonight. We're going to do some rock crawlers. These are just knockoffs of the original rock crawler. The action is extremely similar. The only difference really is that they have a bubble eye. So you can actually see my whole camera here, which is really strange. So let's try this instead. Looks really weird. Makes me self-conscious when my YouTube channel can see my whole camera, my whole Facebook camera. Okay, that should work a little bit better. Okay, so this is like the rock crawler knockoff, and it swims just like the regular rock crawler. It goes about 8 to 10 foot. Great deflection, and the only difference is the eyes, really. They're bubble eyes, kind of like a wart, instead of the angry eyes or whatever. And so I just usually paint them black because I like the way it looks. But you could do a neon, you could do all kinds of stuff, whatever you wanted to. And then we're going to do these are a knockoff of the DT10. So these have more than one rattle, actually. I know that one of the versions was a one knocker, but this particular one is not. It's got like 3 rattles. One of them is just, 2 of them are stationary in the front to keep the nose down, and then there's one loose rattle. So these are really good too. They get down about 8 to 10 foot as well. I missed a piece of tape on this one. And they are great swimmers too, really good fish catchers. And then I'm going to do a few of the deep jerkbaits. So I have a few of the 110+1 knockoffs. These have weight transfer, and we fish them here all the time. They go about, it depends how you fish them, but generally with, a pretty basic setup, around 4 to 6 feet. You could get them a little deeper if you had, if you used, a little bit of a different line, or I don't know, if you fished them tipped down a little bit more, you might be able to get them to go deeper. But I haven't seen them go much deeper than like 5 or 6 feet. So that's just my take on things. So feel free to comment. I'm good, Parrot Head. How are you doing? Feel free to share the feed. The more you do, the better for me. I'd love to get the word out as possible about what I do. And this is really the only advertising that I do is live videos and then just posting my stuff online. So my heater is like way too hot, but I can't ever remember how to turn the damn thing down. So I'm like sweating to death out here. It wasn't really that cold here today. It was like about high 40s or so. So it gets warm in here a lot faster, like when the sun's shining too, because we're in Colorado and we're a little bit closer to the sun than the rest of the United States. So The sun heats things up really fast. So we're going to start by priming some of these. I'm going to leave a couple of them clear. I have a few color ideas, but if you guys have some ideas, I'm always open to suggestions. We're just going to do some shad patterns. I'm going to get sick of doing craws. So right now I'm working on a big run of the transparent candy craws that everybody said they love so much. So here they come. I have to do splatter on this, and then I still have to fill in the back with some brown. But they're going to be available in all different kinds of baits. I mean, I have them in medium divers. I have them in deep divers. I have them in square bills. Then I'm going to do I'm doing some minnows in the same color pattern with just the splatter and not the, it's got like a gold and then a candy apple red, and it'll have a brown back and then some black splatter on those. And then I'm also doing the chromes. So these are super shiny when they're clear coated. They don't look that shiny when they're painted without clear coat. But once we get the clear coat on these, they're really shiny. So I'm doing those, will be available in mostly lipless 1.5 and 2.5 square bill. And that's it for the chrome. Oh, a few spooks and a couple S cranks, but not much really besides the square bills and the lipless. So anyway, look for those. I just did some fire tiger blades today. I finished up some fire tiger blades, and then a few of the golden shads and the silver shads as well. So those will be available soon here in the store too. Cold water fishing, you know, the water's really cold right now. Here it's, you know, in the mid 30s. So if you want to catch those, you know, slow bass on the bottom, they are really the way to go. It's a slow fishing bait, so you got to have patience, but they definitely catch fish. Chris has caught a lot of fish on blades this year, and so if you're not used to using them, I would definitely give them a shot. So we have a variety of colors in stock right now on the website. So anyway, I'll get to the comments here, and then we'll just get to painting. So I pinned the website on the description of this video, but let me grab it into the comments here real quick. I hope everyone's doing well. We are almost all done with February. Can you believe it? It's getting so close to being spring, and I'm really excited. So here we go. Let me copy this. I try to copy and paste all my links. I email them to myself before the show so that I can just paste it in here without having to re-type it. Albino square bills? Like what kind of albino? Albino what? Bass? Is that what you mean? You mean like the red and white feather? The feather tail? Is that what you mean? That's the only one I remember that I did that was albino. Oops, I just clicked on my link. I was trying to pin it. There we go. Thank you, Rodney. So I can do some of those, Bradley. You just need to PM me and let me know that you want some, and then I'll do a few. Hey, Bruce, I saw the grandbabies, twins. Is that right? Congratulations to you. That's exciting. Hello, everybody. 65 in Southern Illinois, not bad. Good evening, guys. Kyle, why don't you PM me the name of your group, and then when I get done, I can join your group. But thank you for that. Picking my nose. Did I pick my nose? I don't think I picked my nose. But if you say so. I might have itched my nose, but I don't think I picked my nose on my show. All right, guys. So let's get started. Every time you get on camera, it's a fact. Your nose starts itching. At least mine does anyway. And mine always itches underneath my mask, too. So we'll do some transparent, a couple transparent ones, and then I'll prime a few of these. And when I prime transparent, I just use a transparent base. Or you can use Createx 4030, which is the balancing clear that they make. So either one of those will work, just so you have like some sort of a base, you know, coat of some sort down. See, I told you my nose is. That's not picking. That's itching. Let me turn my fan on here real quick. I always turn it off when I leave the room. It pulls all the dust out of here. So this is Stynal Res by Badger. And this will help with adhesion. If you listen to me every week, you already know this, but just in case people are watching who haven't been on before, I'll repeat myself. And please share the feed if you can on your fishing pages or your own page, your local fishing groups. Really helps me get the word out. Okay, so I just do like one coat here of this, like just get a decent amount of coverage, and then I'll do like a white paint as well over top. Cherry stuck on something. So we'll do like each one of them I'll prime white, and then each one of them I'll leave clear. I have some color ideas, but you're more than welcome to ask for a color combo that you haven't been able to find, that you've always, wanted in your box or whatever. And I am very open to suggestions. Okay. So let's dump this out, the rest of it. And then I'll rinse this out. Yes, I did. I haven't had a chance to respond to your message, but I always get to them when I can. Okay, Bradley, if you want to order something specific in that color, PM me. Because I don't want to make something and then have it be like not in the size that you want. So please PM me what size you want. A fire gill with candy colors. Kind of. Not really. I've done something candy in a bluegill, but not really like yellow, green, and orange, if that's what you mean. But that would be kind of interesting. I'm doing shad tonight, so maybe if you have an idea what exactly you mean by that, as far as colors go, it might be something I could do like down the road. Okay, I'm gonna grab my 40-30 or my transparent base, whichever one I see first probably. Here's my balancing clear, and I'm gonna prime the clear ones with that. It just gives it something, like your colors, something to adhere to. And so I always start with some kind of a base. So please share the feed if you guys have not. I appreciate shares very much. It makes a huge difference when it comes to how many people I get on my show, whether people share the feed or not. Okay. So just putting a light coat of this down on each one of these, and then we'll come up with some good stuff, hopefully. And there might be some garbage in there too. Let's see. I was gonna do a tiger out tonight, but I never really got my stencil right. Like I made one, actually after the show last week. I made one, a stencil, and I was gonna do it before the show, and I ran out of time. And then when I went to cut it, I realized that I didn't like. Do you ever close cells? If you close a cell, then the whole middle comes out. Like if you're cutting a stencil of an R out or an A, and like the middle of the R or the A falls out. I made too many of those like errors, so it didn't quite fix it. So I might do tiger, but I don't know for sure yet. It could be on the inside. Yeah, I think it's on the inside. Can't do much about that. green, red, orange, hot pink, and blue. Wow. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. So send me a picture. All right. What shall we start with? Let's do, well, let's start with white on the ones that don't have white on them. That'd be a good idea. And then we'll do, then we'll figure it out. So, let me grab my white. That is seemingly lost, even though I set it aside. Here it is. I do not like sitting down. I only do it so that the camera can be closer to the table. I usually stand up because it's too hard to move around when I'm sitting down. All right, so I'm just putting a couple of coats of Wicked Detail Opaque White. You can use whatever kind of white you want, but I like the Wicked Detail Opaque White. I've seen some people, if you use like a white base coat, make sure it's a decent quality one, because some of them are really chalky and they will, you'll end up having like adhesion problems because of them. Like, don't use a craft paint as your a white craft paint like a Folk Art or Apple Barrel. Those paints are fine, generally speaking. They don't look as good. They don't spray as nice. They don't look as good. They work, but the white is particularly problematic when it comes to adhesion. So I would not use that at all. Get Wicked, and I personally wouldn't even use Createx white, not the regular Createx white. I would use Wicked, because Createx regular is meant for t-shirts and fabrics, basically, whereas the Wicked line has like a more versatile amount of materials that it's intended for, if you didn't know that. So it doesn't, regular Createx just doesn't adhere as well to plastic. You'll learn that the hard way when your clear coats get compromised and then like your whole paint job peels off the lure. That's usually because of the base coat. Okay. So let's do a gold, and then we'll do some brown and some gold scales. I have some pictures that I'm working off of, just like some ideas that I got. And then I'm going to do like a transparent purple with chartreuse belly. That's a really popular color. I think that Megabass makes something similar to it, but we're just going to like kind of do our own thing. And then I'm going to do like a green gizzard in a transparent, and then we'll probably do like some kind of a gizzard shad. And I'll do that like in a white silver with a little bit of gold and black, and then maybe like a bright shad, maybe like some greens and blues, and we'll just like wing it. So if you have any other ideas, feel free to chime in and give me your ideas, because I'm just making it up as I go, if I'm real honest. All right. So let me make sure I got all my comments here. So let's start with the gold and then the brown. So I'm going to use this yellow. It's called yellow. And the more of this that you put on, the more orange it looks. And then if it's not orangey enough for me, I might add a little bit of orange on top, like some really thin orange. And this is Createx Reducer. If you guys can't see by chance very well, just let me know and I'll move my camera. Because I can't tell. I can tell, I think, but threadfin chat, but I've already done that live. Purple, yeah, I know, I love purple. I've already done a threadfin shad in 2 different color variations live. And there's a lot, well, you know what? This green gizzard shad could pass as a threadfin anyway, because they can be the same color. So I'm thinking about which one I want to do in this color. Let's do this rock crawler in this color. And I'm going to give this a little spritz with the hair dryer because it doesn't seem dry to me yet. So I can do the green gizzard, and threadfin can be kind of almost the same color sometimes. I guess the only difference would be the lateral line. But then threadfin can be blue too. It can be so many different colors. So, all right. So I'm gonna do like most of this lure. This is Wicked Golden Yellow, and we're just gonna do like almost the whole thing. You don't really need to worry about the top because that's gonna be a different color, but you can paint it if you want. When you cover it with like a much darker color, it's not going to show up much anyways. So okay. So I'm just putting down a few layers of this and you can see the difference. So that's like a lighter coat and then this is a darker coat. So you can see how it becomes more orange as you put more coats on. So on the side here, I'm trying to get, a few coats just so that it looks a little bit darker. And then I'll rinse this out. Okay, now on this one, I'm going to do a brown or something similar. So something dark. I'm going to grab a brown of some sort out of here real quick. Don't ever put purple over yellow. It looks terrible, just in case you ever wondered. I'll give you the warning ahead of time. I could sepia, but the only thing about that is that my sepia really makes me mad right now. It's not spraying very good. So maybe we should use burnt umber. Let's try it. The pearlized purple backbone with sepia over it. And that might be kind of cool too, yeah. And I was thinking about what I would put on the back. Like what, I got some, I actually kind of have forgotten about my Dr. P.H. Martin's inks. If you guys remember, I used to use those a lot, and I haven't really been using them. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I have some of their regular. I'm talking to you guys, not my kid. Where are they? Okay. Well, I don't know where I put those. So I have all of their inks, not all of them. I have a set of their regular inks, and I don't know what I did with them. They're lost. Oh, I found them. Okay. I got way too much crap, you guys. So I have this set too. So I got this Hobby Lobby, and I think it was like $20 or something. And then you can use the coupon on this too, which they don't actually, never mind, they don't have a coupon anymore. So they have this brown in here, and I always forget about it. And all these other colors. So let's keep those handy, and maybe I'll bust some of those out in a little bit for fun, since we're just playing around. But let's go ahead and use the umber and see how it looks. And if it looks like poop, then I'll go over it with sepia. Oh, thank you. Jointed. Good place to put the jointed swim bait you got from us. Are you using it as a display piece? Hey, Paul. So we're going to go over the high sides. Got to make sure that you point that airbrush upward. So I got that on a little bit too heavy there. But I'm going to go over this with the scale, which should cover it for the most part. So I'm not going to panic about that. But really, you should slow down and see what I'm talking about. Do you see how that's what happens when you put too much paint on at once? You get that pooling in one spot. Then I'm going to put more than one coat on here, so I might be able to cover it up, and then I'm going to put scales over top of it too. So by the time it's all said and done, you probably won't be able to see it. Oh, red. You know what? That gold spatter is actually really hard to do because I had to use my Tester's Aztec gold, and it's very thick. And the reason I use that gold versus a different brand is because Createx's gold is very transparent, and I didn't think it would show up on red. So I used my Tester's, which is a very thick paint that likes to dry in the cup. So it's really hard to get it to spatter. So I'm going to pass on doing that one live because it'll be really frustrating. Oh, plus I have to do spatter on like 100 lures that I'm working on right now. So like, I'm really not looking forward to that. Spatter is cool when it's working, but sometimes it just doesn't want to work. So it gets me like really irritated. I love how it looks, but I should just say like I'm not very good at it because I'm not really very good at it. There are other ways to do splatter than the way that I do it, and I've never really properly learned because they're really messy. And I don't want to clean up all that crap, so I do it my clean way that takes way longer and it's more frustrating. So I found this bag I sold for my kids, and it was funny, they asked me where this bag went, and I was like, I don't know where that bag went. But I stole it. So anyways, these are pretty cool. So you got like kind of almost like dots that are small and spread out. And it was just like a toy that I found this stuff on. And so I'm going to try it maybe, and we'll see what happens. So I need my gold, and we're going to do a gold scale. So this is Tester's Aztec gold, and these are my favorite pearls. Also, the Auto Air by Createx makes good metallic pearls. If you want more opaque looking, like gold or white or silver or copper, they're some of the more opaque colors where you don't need to pile on a bunch of paint to get a solid color. Share the feed, guys. Please share. Okay, and then also I pinned the YouTube link, and if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube, do that. I'm going to try and post more content like someday when I have more time. And when I learn how to edit videos, which I don't do. Okay. I wish there was like a class. There probably is a class. I know there's this website that does classes for everything, and I need like to take a class on video editing. I forget what this website's called. If you can think of it, you can post it. But they like do all these online courses, like crash courses or whatever. And I should take one like video editing or like YouTube creation or whatever. Ooh, that looks really cool. Look. Isn't that cool? Looks pretty cool, huh? Hey, Herb. 110 plus 1 is fantastic. Oh, my blades. Yeah, you know, my husband loses a lot of my play baits, so I feel your pain. I have to repaint him when he loses them. They do get stuck on the bottom, unfortunately. Our lake is all rocks, and it really eats hard bait. If you look around the lake in the spring, you'll find a lot of my lures probably because my husband lost them. Sweet. I'm probably gonna back blend this one because I oversprayed a little bit, but this is a pretty cool mesh pattern that I haven't really ever seen before on anybody else's stuff. So I got something special. And then I'll put sepia on the top of this one. I think that'll look really good, actually. And then maybe, do you guys think fluorescent red on the bottom, red or orange? Tell me. We'll come back to it. Okay, let's move on. So how about we do the purple and chartreuse transparent. And see what we can come up with. So let's try my iridescent inks. These can be a pain in the butt to spray, but they are beautiful. So you need at least a 0.335 needle nozzle combo. A 0.5 would be better, and I actually might switch. I might switch actually. This I usually don't use water-based paints in this one, but I'm going to switch just because. Well, let's just see what happens if this sprays better through here. This is a 0.5, my Patriot. This is actually an Extreme Patriot, but I converted it to a 0.5. It's a long story. Orange, red. So far, nobody agrees. Oh, awesome, Keith. I appreciate it. I wonder what his name is. Are those blank glides to my right? Yes, they are, and they are primed. And I'm painting them in a trout pattern that I painted during my show last week, which is right here. So this is the pattern I'm doing, and then I'm doing some rainbows that don't have this the markings on it too, but and it's also hanging up here. So I'm gonna do a bunch of those. I just got them primed, and I haven't had a chance to finish painting them or clearing them. Oh, okay. That name doesn't ring a bell right now, but all right. And those are 7-inch body glides, but they're actually like 8-inch with the tails. And the tails aren't painted yet, so they're still taped off. So I'll paint those up also with a different kind of paint. They require a different paint than the bodies do. So it's a whole process. All right. Purple and blue bottom. What are you talking about, Anthony? You totally lost me. All right. So let's go over the back of this jerkbait. And this is iridescent violet Dr. P.H. Martin's India ink. This stuff is like really, really cool looking. So if you see the way that it shifts in the light, you can see the just how different it looks when it hits the light. So you got to be really careful that you don't put too much of this stuff down at once. It's kind of transparent, so it's easy to overdo it. So just give it a quick dry, and then build on it as you go. And then I might hit like the nose and the tail with like a little bit of a darker shade. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use like a candy or a watered down candy, or I could use a plum. I have a plum pearl plum. What the hell? It's Createx Pearl Plum. I can't speak today. So we'll go up the face a little bit here too. And then just kind of like curve it up the body a little bit. That's too much on that side. I kind of jacked that up a little bit, but. And depending on what light you're in, this will look more or less purple. How much reflection there is, where you're at, or whatever. These inks are pretty sweet. If you don't have them, there's these. They come in sets, and there's like 3 different sets. Maybe there's only 2. There's here 2 or 3 sets, and that's set number 1 that I have. And I would get those from, I think I got mine on Dick Blick's website. Because they're not an airbrush paint, but you can paint with them as an airbrush paint. No problem. So I'm just building this a little heavier on the top. And then I went up the face a little bit. You can kind of see how I did up the face a little bit there. And then I'll do a little bit down the tail, but not as heavy as the back. So just a couple of quick passes down the tail, and then I'm going to go ahead and switch to a different purple. And then I'll probably just go along the spine a little bit with a darker purple to give it that smoky kind of look. And I'm not quite sure what purple, I haven't decided yet. Purple with a blue shimmer. My blueberry shad is kind of like that. I do like a iridescent purple from the tail up, and then a blue from the face down, and they kind of merge together, which is pretty cool. A picture of carpet decal. Yeah, in a minute here. They're on my website, Shane, the carpet decals. There should be pictures there. How does the ink compare to folk art ink? Well, folk art is not ink. It's acrylic paint. This is India ink, so it's just a different kind of paint, but they're a little bit thinner. They have a big flake, so you need a larger needle than 0.2. Like if you have a Sotar 2020 as your airbrush, I wouldn't even try to spray them. They have a thick flake, kind of like the metallic folk art paints have. So, but like they're just thinner. They're more transparent. So you just kind of have to get one and play with it. But the solid inks like these here, they're very thin, almost like water. They'd be like if you took your Createx paints and thinned them way, way down. This would be the consistency, but these have more pigment, I feel like, so they're not as transparent, if that makes sense. So in some ways they're a little better, but it just depends on what you're trying to do. What are you trying to accomplish, you know? So let's get a different purple out and let's darken up that back. And I might actually mix the purple, and then I might make it a little bit gray. And I know that sounds weird, but that's what I'm feeling right now. Here's my purple plum right here. It's just regular pearlized plum. And then I will get out, I don't know, a silver of some kind. I have a few different ones. Here, let's just use this one. This is regular Createx Pearl Silver. Okay. So let's put some silver in and then some purple, and we'll make kind of like a dusty purple. And hopefully it'll work. And then we'll go over the top with this and see, give it a little bit of contrast down the middle. And then we'll add our chartreuse belly. Can't go wrong with purple and chartreuse. That is pretty purple. It's not as gray-like as I wanted it to be. I'm wasting paint. So usually if I have a design, like I know I'm going to paint, I'll just mix the color and then like I'll keep it in a separate like bottle. I buy these like this. You can get these on Amazon or whatever. You mix your color up or pre-reduce it or whatever, and then you have it, and it'll always be the same until I go to mix it again, and then I can't remember how I mixed it because I'm stupid and I don't write things down. Share the feed if you can, guys. Okay, so we'll call that gray enough. I don't know how it's going to look, but if it doesn't accomplish the look I'm going for, then I might add just a smidgen of black, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do at this point, because it really doesn't look any darker than it did before. Yeah, so I mean, it's like marginally. Would you guys leave it like that, or do you think it should be a little darker on the back? I'm using your knowledge. Leave it or make that purple darker. So I don't want it to be like bright. I want it to be more like dusty purple. Or is that good? What do you guys think? Any comments? Do you like it? Eh. Yeah, I think darker too. I'm sorry. I just can't. Something just doesn't seem right to me. So I gotta make it darker. So let me grab my black. Wherever the heck I put that. Not here. Oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. I guess I could open the door, but then I'm always afraid that somebody will sneak in and kidnap me. Way out in the middle of nowhere, right? I listen to too many crime podcasts, so now I'm paranoid. I can't be the only one. I mean, there's nothing to do while you're painting. You're just kind of bored and like. So I listen to a lot of podcasts and true crime YouTubers and stuff. Okay, so let's see how this color looks now. That's not dry. This one's taking too long. Okay. So it's getting there. I still feel like it's not very dark. But we're working on it. I could have accomplished this with a lot less paint. That's all I got to say. So that's looking better. A little bit darker. So I think I might stop there, and then I'll do a little bit around the eyeball. And it ran, of course. I got a little. So let's do the chartreuse now on the belly, and then I'll call that one good, except for maybe a dot on the side, unless you guys can think of anything else. Hello, share the feed if you guys can. All right. So the chartreuse. Woo! Somebody Somebody once told me you mix a little, or you do lime green and then you put fluorescent yellow over top of it, and I've never actually tried that. Should probably do that someday. Because usually what I do is I just take a tiny bit of a tiny bit of green, neon green, and mix it like a tiny dab, like that, just a tiny bit, and mix it with the yellow, and that just gives it like a slight green hue. And that's what I use for chartreuse. Oh, the mustads, yeah. I switched to mustad hooks about, gotta be almost a year now. Okay. So again, really light coats with the chartreuse. You have to build them. It's really time consuming. So I'm just going to power through this. Hey, everybody on YouTube. I did something funny. Or I'm just funny in general. Or ridiculous. That was coming over the edge a little bit. Sometimes if you're quick, you can fix water-based paints. You can fix the problem. If you dab it up, sometimes you can. Okay, so 400 years later, we'll have a chartreuse village. It's really especially hard on a clear lure. So one trick, which I probably should have done anyways, but you run the risk of overspraying a little bit, is to put some white down, which I could try it and see what happens. Put some white down first, because fluorescents show up way, way better over white than they do over clear or any other color. So if I get really close, maybe we can do this. And in hindsight on this, this jerkbait, if I do this color again, is do the white belly first, so that if you do get overspray on the lure, you can wipe it off before you start the other colors. If that makes sense to anybody? Because once you have the top painted, you obviously can't wipe. You can't wipe them without wiping the paint off and ruining your pattern. So that was kind of taking a chance there. But I don't think I got overspray on the top. So you'll see now, it'll be a lot brighter. It gets brighter faster. I don't know. I mean, you could still just pile on the fluorescent. In my experience, though, it doesn't get very bright if you don't have white under it. So it's almost better just to put white under it. Oh, is it? Just purple and chartreuse? I love me some purple. I don't know why, but I just love purple on lures. And it's not even my favorite color. I think it kind of goes with it. I don't know. It like works in combination with so many different colors. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop on that coat. Just set this. So this has got some iridescent ink on it and the chartreuse belly, and then we'll add a black. I'll add a black marking on the side of it, and then probably darken the area around the eye, so that when I put the eyes on, I almost always use the down-looking eyes on the Mega Mask jerkbaits because I like the way that they look. Okay, so let's move on now, and I'll add the black later on that one. Some of these steps I'll come back to later. Okay, now we're stuck. So I'm going to put a little bit of silver on this one, the side of this one lure, and I'll show you what I'm doing when I get that far. But we're going to do kind of a bright color on this one. But I'm going to put silver. Actually, I don't know if this is going to show up. I might have to mix a little black with it to get it to show up. The silver over white, it works better over black, silver does, than it works over white. When you put silver over white, it just kind of looks a little shiny, but it doesn't really, it's way too black. It doesn't really actually look silver. I don't know how to explain myself any better than that. I'm just wiping most of the black out because I overdid it. I don't think I'm going to do a black stripe. I think that's like one of those things. A black stripe is one thing that you just can't come back from. Okay. So this is like a dark silver now. I just mixed some black with it. So I'm just going to mist the side of this with this, just a grayish silver. And I don't need it to be really dark. So that's good. So I'm going to create a very subtle scale pattern on the sides of this one. So much so that you might not even really notice it unless you flash it in the light a certain way. And that works over chrome too. If you have a chrome bait and you just put a little white pearl over it, you can get a very subtle, with just a tiny bit of a mist of white. You get a subtle scale pattern that you've probably seen on my mirror shad chrome bait. It's kind of a cool look. Okay, so I'm going to let that one dry by itself just a little bit, and then let's do a transparent gizzard, green gizzard slash thread fin type shad pattern. So let's do iridescent pink just for fun, and then we'll do the top in green, and then maybe we'll put a lateral line and some and then we'll put like a marking on it or whatever. This green is too bright. I'm going to use a different green for the top, but we'll have to probably mix a few colors to get the color I want. I want kind of like a, not like a moss green, but like a dusty green, but not a dark green. Does that make any sense? I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, the thin lines are too frustrating. Oh no, David. We don't have, well, we have a lot of walleye, but we don't have a lot of super toothy creatures here. If you go up into the mountains, you do. I broke this dropper, so it's only partially functional. It was cracked off. It still works, but not really very good. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to put this scale pattern on the side for this. This is like the same thing. We'll just use this one again. And then for the top, maybe I'll use a different one. I don't know. I'm excited. So we're just going to do a little bit of pink down the side. And this is an iridescent, so it'll be transparent and it'll just show up mostly in the light, which is actually looks really cool. You can barely see it. Do you guys see that? Am I too close? I don't know if you guys on YouTube can see that very well. It looks really bright on my side, but I can't tell. I don't know what it looks like for you guys. So let's mist it on this side now, right down the middle, kind of. And with these inks, you have to spray kind of with all your might. So you have to use like full force basically to get it to come out because the flake is so thick. So if you can't see these dots, they look really cool in the light. They change color. So they look much cooler than you would think they do. So I'm going to clean this out. And then I'm going to get the green on there. And I'm going to use a leaf green, and then I will darken it as needed. I'll probably do a leaf green, and then I'll do maybe like a moss green or a candy green over top, or maybe even, yeah, probably moss. But I'll start with a leaf green, which is a transparent color. It's just kind of like a lighter, earthy kind of green. They look kind of cool, I think, those scales. I'm going to have to do more of that kind of stuff now that I've discovered how cool it looks on a clear bait. So this is just a little bit, this looks really chunky, so I'm not even sure if this paint is good anymore, but I don't know, some of the stuff I've had for a really long time, so. It's spraying kind of angrily. A lot of these paints are probably expired, to be honest. Because I don't go through some of these very fast, so they sit for a while. Share the feed if you can, guys. I appreciate the shares. Find us on YouTube if you haven't yet. I put the link in the description on here to the YouTube channel, and also the pinned comment. So there's the leaf green on the top, and I'm going to go over it with a darker green scale, and then you can still really see those iridescent pink scales. All right, so moss green is just a darker transparent green, and this is the Wicked detail line by Createx. It's a must-have for fish patterns. One of the must-haves. There's a couple. And this is one of them. Okay. So I'm going to take my other scale pattern, and I'm going to use, I'm debating between, this is kind of big for a small bait. Like I usually use this scale for like a swim bait. It never stretches right. See how I have that line right there? It never stretches perfect, this shower loofah stuff. So that's kind of a pain in my butt. And then this is just a smaller mesh pattern that I found at the fabric store. Try this one. Just because I feel like the other stuff is kind of big, and I didn't put any of my smaller loofah material in a holder. And I'm not all about wrapping baits right now, so let's use what we got handy. Okay, that should be good, I think. I'm gonna get the nose a little more. So I'm just spraying through the mesh here. If you guys aren't used to seeing me do this, then I'll just pull it off. And then you have your scale pattern right on top of the lighter color. Okay, so we'll do the other side then. Okay, I'm gonna actually dry this before I pull it off because I feel like it's a little wet. And then we'll pull that one off. So let's go over the top and shade that a little bit with this darker green. We'll put a little white outline for our, before we put our marking on there. And then I'm considering like a little bit of a white pearl on the belly, like an opaque white pearl on the belly. And we'll see how that looks. I think with the pink, I might use a little bit more. I don't know, you really can see it in the light much more than you would think. So once you get this out in the sun, that pink will pop a little bit, but it doesn't show up that great probably on camera. These things always look a little different in person, and if you have a lot of my stuff, you know what I mean. They look a little different in person than they do on camera or in pictures. I don't edit my pictures a lot. I do the auto edit, and I just take them outside, so it's as realistic as I can get it for the most part. I just do like the light adjustment, the automatic one on my iPhone. So they typically look exactly like they do. I'm afraid to use regular white to do this because I'm afraid it's gonna splatter everywhere and it's gonna make it look messy. So let's try pearl white, and if it sucks, then I won't ever do it again. We're just practicing right now, so it's okay. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a super thin lateral line stencil that I can bust out here in a minute. Well, I guess if I'm going to do that, I should do it now. Where's it at? It won't take me long to find it, so don't roll your eyes just yet because it's a big stencil. But I made myself a lateral line stencil that's really skinny. And I literally just did it by taping 2 pieces of cardstock together. Oh, I thought I was going to find it fast. And then I lied to you. It's a big stencil, so there it is. Okay. So like, this is how ghetto that is. So it's just literally is like 2 pieces of paper stuck together. So let's do a brown, brown or copper. Brown or copper, brown or copper. Hey Dan. I know pictures are not my favorite because like I take them on the rocks outside, and I have to crouch down to take them, and I'm old. Like, I shouldn't say I'm old, but you know, I'm not 20 anymore, so like my legs start to go numb and hurt, and I'm like trying to go as fast as I can without them looking like crap when I take pictures. Okay, now I'm just putting the stencil up against my lure like that, and then I'm just gonna spray through that thin line carefully to get a lateral line. Hi Mike, yes, I use, when I'm painting clear, you can use either 40-30 balancing clear as a primer, or you can use the 4004 transparent base. So just put down some kind of transparent base coat, and then you're good. It's a good idea to wipe your baits with alcohol before you prime them. also just to get any oils that might be left over from the manufacturing process, or if anybody touched them, just to get the oils off so that you don't have any contamination to start with. So there's just a very super thin lateral line on that. So I'll do the other side. Until you lose one, then you get really upset. Yes, that is one advantage to painting them myself, is that it's not quite as bad when I lose one. It's just my time that's at stake, and like some expense, but a lot more time, which still isn't good. Okay, so there's my two lateral lines, one on each side, and then I'll put a little white spot, and then we'll put a marking on there. I think we're probably only going to get done with like these three though tonight, because I might have thought I had more time than I actually had. I don't want to be here all night. And then I'll try these other patterns and I'll share them with you. All right, so let's try some white. Actually, I've already put it in here. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the shares. Okay, so we're just going to put a little spot here, right where that lateral line is. And I'm just doing it in Aztec Pearl White. I made that pool a little bit. That's not good, but I'll cover it up with the black marking. These paints are a little bit temperamental. Great, thanks, Matt. It was just a coincidence that it turned out right. Hey, Dan. So I just did this. I'm probably going to have to redo the bottom, but this is just so that I can put then my black marking on there. So let's go over this top. Of course, I just took the brown out of here because I'm a moron. But let's add a little white pearl to the bottom of this, like I said I was gonna. Before I get rid of this, and then I'll finish this one over here. I don't think we had a consensus on the bottom color, so I'm going to do red on this one. I don't know how fluorescent red will look. I can try it and see what happens. So now we have a white belly on this. And then the a little different than maybe some people would do. But a little more natural, I guess, looking than some patterns. Okay, so I'm cleaning this one out so that I don't get... Okay, I'm going to do darker... I'm thinking, let's do our red on the bottom first, and then I'll come back and I'll do our... whatever, the rest. So this is a... Wait a minute. Candy orange. Iridescent red. See, that looks pink to me. Sorry, I disappeared for a second. I'm looking at my colors. So this is fluorescent red. I have a couple of them. I got some stuff from a friend who decided to quit painting. So I've got hot red, but they look totally different. One looks pinker than the other for some reason. It really looks pink. I don't think it's gonna work. Let's just do red. I changed my mind. This one is deep red. Should we do deep red or should we do bright red? We should probably do bright red. I haven't really found a good use for that deep red color. I don't know if anybody else has that, but I used it a couple of times and it actually looked kind of pink. And I was like, why does this look pink? And it's supposed to be a dark red. And so I don't think I ever used it again after that. Because I was like so confused why it turned out like that. Mix them 50-50. How about we layer them? I'm too lazy to mix them right now. At least I'm honest. So this is bright red. This is transparent bright red. So that's what it looks over the golden orange. Hang on my laptop, I just had a pop-up block my comments. Okay. So that's the bright red. I can try layering it just to see what happens. God knows I'm never going to use this whole bottle if I don't. So like it comes out of the bottle looking really nice and dark, but then when you put it on, it's really like that. So I don't know if it's almost like a burgundy-ish color, if you guys can even see that. This is what it looks like in the bottle. But when you spray it, it just, I don't know. It's almost like a pinkish. Yeah, it looks about the same. So I don't know if it's even worth it. It does look a little bit brighter though, actually. When you put that over it, do you guys think that looks a little bit brighter? I kind of think it does, actually. It might be worth a try to do it that way. Okay, so then let's do some brown on the top of this one, and then we'll finish up with the black accents on all of these, and we'll call it a day. Oh, thanks so much, Paul. You guys are too kind. Thanks, guys. You know, I'm always comparing myself to some of the, I know all the lure painters that you guys see posting on auctions. I know all of those guys. And I'm always comparing myself to everybody else because it keeps you wanting to get better and learn more and try new things. So I don't ever think of myself really as like that great. So it's really cool when you guys say that because I just don't feel like it. I don't have as many years in as some of those guys. So see, that's why I hate sepia. It just exploded. So this is messed up now. On the tail, it's really messed up, but you'll get the idea. I think a lot of my paints are just old. And I think they've kind of started to clump a little bit, and so I have problems with them. Most of them probably need replacing, but there's definitely like something dried and clogged right now in here. So I have a little bit of, you saw where it came out too fast. Can you see on the tail there where it's kind of like built up around the edge? See, these are the stupid details that most people probably wouldn't even care about that drive me insane. I can't deal with it. So all those little mistakes are not acceptable in my world. It's like a reminder that I screwed up or something. So let's go to black and finish these all up. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Yeah, I could darken it down. I don't know. I kind of like it the way it turned out though, with the red and then the dark red on top. Oh, your favorite pose? I have an entire drawer full of pose that, in this interesting story, sorry not to get off subject, but my husband's grandpa was a huge fan of pose, and he started making his own lures out of cedar, and he recently passed. And we're actually potentially like probably getting all of the things that he used to make it. So I don't know, maybe I'll learn someday. But he has a ton of pose, and we'll probably be getting all of them. But he sent me a bunch, and I repainted a whole bunch for him, and then I sold some of them repainted, and I still have a whole bunch. So if you like pose, let me know. I might paint some of them up for you if you tell me what color you like. Okay, let's get our black out and finish these up. Oh, I never did do the top again in dark green on that. So let's do that real quick. Tournament Sunday next week. Yeah, Chris's tournaments are coming up soon. He's got one in March. So probably, I think it's in like 2 weeks, I think. Not next weekend, but the weekend after, I think they have one. So it is coming. A ton of pose minnows, huh? I have mostly deep divers. The 4 and 200s, mostly 200s is what I have left. I just needed to darken that back down a little bit because it had a little bit of overspray on it and it wasn't really very dark. So I just added a little color to it. But the ones that he made are more slender, like flat-sided almost. And he did a great job. And I still have some of the ones that he made before he sold his lure company. And they're really cool. I've never tried to fish them. I don't want to ruin them, I guess, but they're really cool. I don't need that color. I need this color. Hello, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Check out the store, by the way. I pinned the website at the bottom of the comments if you want to check out what's in stock. And I'm working on a big batch of transparent red craws right now that are going to hit the store sometime in the next few days. And they are nice and shiny when they get clear coated. There's a gold underneath the candy red, so they get a dark top on them. And then I will also have lots of jerkbaits, minnows, and such, and they get a black splatter on them. I have jerkbaits, minnows. Check these out. You guys are going to see these coming to the store too. This is the knockoff version of the 75 Whopper Plopper. So they finally did make one. So I am doing a few of these up in red and yellow for spring. And then I have, that's kind of exciting. So if you like that 75, I'll have those. I personally really like the flat-sided ploppers. And if you've never tried those, and you see them on my website, I highly recommend giving them a shot. They stay upright in the water. If you retrieve Whopper Ploppers a little too fast, they'll roll. The round ones do. And the nice thing about the flat-sided ones, they look like this. Of course, they get a tail, but it's assembled after I've done the painting. Is that they're flat profiles, so they don't turn in the water. They stay upright. So your pattern is actually going to be vertically correct. Whether the fish can see it or not is another story. But where did I put that? I had a stencil for dots that I covered up with some other crap. Okay. My nice prime trout swim baits are getting knocked over. So I'm just going to put a dot on the side of this, a dot marking, and then it'll be done. And I made this dot stencil on my Silhouette Cameo. I used a vinyl cutter, and I just took an image that I found online of different dots, and I just copied the file into my software. But I draw a lot of my own designs. Like this crop pattern that I showed you, that I drew that one myself. And I made the stencil on my own. So I'm definitely going to remake these. They're pretty sweet, I think. Let's put our marking on here. I don't want this to be, if this is going to be like a thread fin shed, I don't want it to be that shape. So we're going to grab something else to make that marking. And I had that stencil out like 2 seconds ago, but it's not here now. So I'll just make a new one real quick. I just need a piece of paper. That's not the right one. I have some random cards here. So all you gotta do really is just make your own with a scissors or X-Acto. I cut myself in the thumb really bad the other day with my X-Acto knife. I was trying to get 3D eyes off of a lure to repaint, and I stabbed myself. So that was really cool. Somebody's coming looking for me right now, so I must be taking too long. Okay, so I just made like a really random dot, and I'm going to put this over my white dot. So nature isn't perfect, so sometimes these random shaped markings are better than just a circle. It depends on if you're going for a clean look or if you're going for, you know, like a random, let's try and imitate the imperfections of nature's look. In which case, sometimes the rougher looking ones are better. So let's do the eyeballs here. I don't usually do a colored eyeball on these rock crawlers. I can, but I don't. I personally like how they look black, but I can do them colored like a wart. This doesn't want to come out smooth, so that's why it's taking me so long. Okay, so there's that. Gizzard or thread fin. I was going to do another color, but I didn't have time. And then we'll just add a freehand mark on this one. My airbrush is kind of it could be tip dry. It is tip dry. Every once in a while, you gotta make sure that the tip of your needle isn't dirty. All right, so there's your purple chartreuse jerkbait, transparent. And then my golden shad, or whatever I decided to call it. And yes, threadfin or green gizzard, whatever you want to call it. So we did 3 tonight, different shad type patterns. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the shares. You found a water scout lure you forgot you had. I've never even heard of that. Hose out of Modesto. I've never seen that one. Not that minnow. Oh yeah, wooden lures. Oh, for sure. They're just too time consuming. That's it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions, PM me. Otherwise, check out the store, coloradocustomlures.com, and we'll see you next week. Bye.